I didn't want to live anymore. I wasn't praying. I wasn't looking for God. I wasn't asking anyone for help. I was just tired. Not tired of working. Not tired of people. I was tired of waking up every day and pretending I was okay, when inside I felt empty, broken, and invisible. That night, I had already decided I was done. But something happened. Something I still can't fully explain. I didn't go looking for God. God came looking for me. And what happened next saved my life. I need to be honest with you. I wasn't being dramatic. I wasn't trying to get attention. I truly didn't want to live anymore. Every morning felt heavy, not because my life looked terrible on the outside, but because on the inside I felt completely worn out. I felt like I was falling behind in life, almost like everyone else knew where they were going, and I was just stuck, watching time pass. I felt useless, replaceable, easy to forget. I smiled when people talked to me. I said, "I'm fine," when they asked. But the truth is, I was surviving, not living. And after a while, even surviving started to feel impossible. I remember thinking one simple, dangerous thought. If my life disappeared tomorrow, would it really matter to anyone? That question stayed in my head, day after day, night after night, until it slowly became something worse. It became a reason to stop trying. My lowest point didn't come from one big disaster. It came from many small disappointments, stacked on top of each other. Plans that failed, promises that broke, people I trusted who slowly disappeared from my life. I watched others move forward. Careers, with families, dreams, and I kept asking myself the same question in silence. What is wrong with me? I blamed myself for everything, for not being strong enough, for not being good enough, for not being brave enough. I carried a lot of shame, not the kind you talk about, the quiet kind, the kind that tells you, you are the problem. At night, when everything became quiet, my thoughts became loud. I replayed my mistakes, my failures, my regrets, over and over again. Nobody knew what I was really fighting. I laughed with people during the day, but when I was alone, I felt completely empty, completely lost, completely tired of being me. And slowly, without realizing it, I stopped believing my life could still become something good. That night didn't feel special. There was no dramatic storm, no big argument, no final message. Just silence. The kind of silence that makes your thoughts louder than anything else. I was sitting there, completely exhausted, not angry, not crying, just empty. And for the first time, I stopped fighting the idea. I stopped trying to convince myself that things would somehow get better. I remember thinking, I can't do this anymore. Not tomorrow. Not next year. Anymore. I had reached the point where giving up felt easier than hoping. It wasn't a cry for help. It was a quiet decision, a dangerous kind of calm. I truly believed this was the end of my story. I didn't see a bright light. I didn't hear a loud voice. Nothing supernatural happened around me, but something happened inside me. In the middle of that silence, a strange, gentle calm slowly began to settle in my chest. It didn't make sense, but nothing in my situation had changed. My problems were still there. My future was still unclear. But suddenly, I was no longer drowning in my own thoughts. It felt like someone had stepped into the room with me, not physically, but deeply, personally. I remember whispering, almost without thinking, God, if you are real, I can't do this alone anymore. I didn't know how to pray. Those words were not beautiful. They were not religious. They were desperate. And somehow, for the first time in a very long time, I didn't feel ignored. I didn't feel invisible. I felt seen. And in that quiet moment, something in my heart broke open. Not with fear, but with relief. It wasn't a miracle in the way people usually imagine. My problems didn't disappear. My life didn't suddenly become perfect. But in that moment, something stopped me. Right when I was ready to give up, a single quiet thought entered my mind. Not loud, not dramatic, just clear. You are still needed. I didn't hear it with my ears. I felt it in my heart. And for some reason, that simple sentence broke through all the noise in my head. Not because I suddenly believed I was successful, not because I suddenly felt strong, but because, for the first time, I believed my life still had a reason. I realized I didn't actually want to die. I just wanted the pain to stop. And in that moment, I understood something very important. God didn't take away my pain, but He took away my permission to quit. That night, God didn't fix my life. He saved my life. The next morning, my life didn't look different. Same room, same phone, and same problems waiting for me. But I wasn't the same person who had gone to sleep. For the first time in a long time, I woke up without that heavy pressure in my chest. Not because everything was suddenly okay, but because I knew I wasn't facing it alone anymore. I still struggled. I still had days when my thoughts tried to pull me back into that dark place. But something had changed. I no longer believed the lie that my life was useless. I no longer believed that my pain made me invisible. I started talking to God in the simplest way. Not with perfect words, not with long prayers. Just honesty. Sometimes it was only one sentence. God, I'm still here. And somehow, that was enough to keep me going. If you are watching this right now, and you feel tired of fighting, I want you to know something. So I am not talking to you as a preacher. I am talking to you as someone who stood exactly where you are standing. Your pain is real. Your confusion is real. Your exhaustion is real. You are not weak because you feel this way. You are human. You may think nobody would notice if you disappeared. You may think your life is already broken beyond repair. But I am living proof that your darkest moment does not get the final word. If you can't pray, just be honest. Even one sentence is enough. God, if you are real, please don't let me give up tonight. You don't need perfect faith. You only need a small moment of honesty. God can meet you there. I don't know your name. I don't know your story. But I believe with all my heart that you are watching this for a reason. I was once convinced my life was over. I was wrong. But God met me at my lowest point, when I wanted to die. And He saved me. If you are still here, still breathing, still listening, your story is not finished yet.